Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our channel. If you're preparing for the IELTS speaking test and aiming for band 7 or higher, you're in the right place.
Hi everyone, I'm really excited because IELTS speaking is not about memorizing answers, it's about communicating confidently.
Let's begin with part 1. So, tell me, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Alex, and I'm currently a university student. I live in a fairly quiet city, but I really enjoy it because it's not too crowded and the pace of life is quite relaxed.
That sounds nice. Do you work or study at the moment?
I'm studying marketing at a university. I'm in my final year, so I have a lot of assignments and upcoming deadlines, but I find my subject very interesting.
Great answer. Let me ask you this. How do you usually spend your free time?
Well, it depends. On weekdays, I usually watch YouTube videos or listen to podcasts in English. On weekends, I try to meet friends or go for a walk to clear my mind.
Do you think free time is important for people?
Absolutely. I believe free time helps people recharge mentally. Without it, life becomes monotonous and stressful, which can seriously affect productivity and mental health.
Now, let's move on to part 2 of the IELTS speaking test. You'll have 1 minute to prepare and up to 2 minutes to speak. Here is your cue card. Describe a person who has influenced you positively. You should say who this person is, how you know them, what qualities they have, and explain why they have influenced you so much. You may begin when you're ready. I'd like to talk about a person who has had a very positive influence on my life, and that person is my university teacher. I first met him during my first year at university, when I was feeling quite uncertain about my future. What really stood out about him was his calm manner and the way he encouraged students to think independently rather than just memorize information. In terms of personality, he was incredibly patient, open-minded, and supportive. He never made students feel embarrassed for making mistakes. Instead, he treated mistakes as part of the learning process, which really boosted my confidence. The reason he influenced me so much is that he changed the way I look at education. Before, I studied just to pass exams, but after attending his classes, I started learning for personal growth. Thanks to him, I became more motivated and self-disciplined, and this mindset still helps me today. IELTS Speaking, Part 3, Discussion, Band 7+. Topic: Influence and Role Models. Let's talk more generally about influence. Question 1. Do you think people are easily influenced these days?
Yes, I believe people are more easily influenced nowadays, mainly because of social media. We are constantly exposed to opinions, lifestyles, and trends which can shape our thinking subconsciously. In some cases, this influence can be positive, especially when it encourages self-improvement, but it can also lead to unrealistic expectations.
Question 2. Who has more influence on young people, family or social media?
In my opinion, family still plays a crucial role, particularly in shaping core values such as honesty and responsibility. However, social media has a stronger influence on behavior and lifestyle choices. Ideally, there should be a balance where families guide young people while teaching them to think critically about online content.
Question 3. Should famous people be role models for the younger generation?
That's a tricky question. I think celebrities can be role models if they demonstrate positive qualities like discipline and social responsibility. However, many famous people are only known for their popularity rather than meaningful achievements, so young people should be encouraged to choose role models carefully.
Question 4. High level. How can schools help students develop independent thinking?
Schools can promote independent thinking by encouraging discussions rather than rote learning. When students are allowed to express opinions, challenge ideas, and work on problem-solving tasks, they become more confident and analytical. This approach prepares them not only for exams, but also for real-life situations.
Before we move to the final part of today's lesson, let's pause for a moment and go through some essential phrases that can help you sound more natural and confident in the IELTS speaking test.
Yes, these are the kinds of expressions examiners love because they show clarity, control, and fluency, not memorization.
Let's start with expressing opinions. Try repeating after me. In my opinion, from my perspective, as far as I'm concerned, I strongly believe that.
Great. These phrases help you start your answer confidently instead of jumping in awkwardly.
Now, how do we extend our answers?
You can use phrases like, the main reason for this is that, this is mainly because, what I mean by this is that, this often leads to.
Exactly. Remember, IELTS is about ideas, not speed. Part 3 questions often require balanced answers.
That's right. Try these. On the one hand, on the other hand, while it's true that, I also think that. However, this doesn't necessarily mean that.
Using these naturally is a strong Band 7+ signal.
What about examples?
You can say, for example, a good example of this would be, for instance, in my own experience.
Simple but very powerful.
Sometimes candidates panic and say or stay silent.
Instead, use, that's an interesting question. Let me think about that for a moment. I've never really thought about this, but.
These sound natural and professional. Finally, how should we finish our answers?
Try these. Overall, I would say that, to sum up, in the long run,
a strong ending leaves a strong impression. So remember, you don't need advanced vocabulary to get a high band score.
You need clear ideas, natural phrases, and confidence.
Exactly. Now that you have these tools, let's move on to the final part of today's IELTS speaking practice. All right, we've reached the final part of today's IELTS speaking practice.
Yes, and this is where everything comes together. Fluency, confidence, and clear ideas.
So here's the final question. What advice would you give to someone who wants to get a high score in IELTS speaking?
In my opinion, the most important thing is to focus on communication rather than perfection. Many candidates worry too much about grammar mistakes, but what really matters is expressing ideas clearly and naturally. I would also strongly recommend practicing speaking every day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. For example, you can talk about your daily routine, your opinions, or recent news in English. This helps build confidence and reduces nervousness during the exam. Overall, I believe that consistency, self-confidence, and the ability to develop answers calmly play a crucial role in achieving a high band score.
That was a strong answer. It was well-structured, confident, and extended naturally, exactly what examiners are looking for.
And remember, IELTS speaking is not a test of intelligence. It's a test of communication.
If you found this lesson helpful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
And if you want more real IELTS-style dialogues, useful phrases, and Band 7+ strategies, make sure to turn on notifications.
Practice a little every day, speak without fear, and trust the process.
You are closer to your target score than you think.
See you in the next lesson.